time, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. You're tuned in to the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. It's August. It's August 3rd. It's Ogtober, finally. We're welcoming in fall, sort of, even though it's 1,000 degrees again in the studio. But this is the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I am Slick Doggy the Grit.
And we're back. We're here. We're going to talk to you about movies for the next hour. We saw some movies. There are movies that came out. There's new movie news. There's one of the biggest pieces of news that hit was apparently we just had the biggest box office weekend in history this past weekend, which is weird.
Well, one movie did, right?
Well, I mean, it was the combination of two movies, but one movie definitely helped. We're going to be talking about that. I did not get a chance to see Spider-Man 75 or whatever this number was. More Tom Holland. I did see the other movie with Tom Holland, John Bernthal, and Zendaya, though. I saw The Odyssey, and I'm going to talk about The Odyssey. I also went and saw the new Cooper Hoffman and we were just talking about her Olivia Wilde film, I Want Your Sex. So maybe talking about that in the second part of the show as well. And what did you see? You watched something on Netflix, right? Or Amazon?
Prime. Yeah, Amazon. I watched the new Amazon original, The Devil's Mouth.
Devil's Mouth.
Yeah, it's about
girl with that mouth.
Sharks. It's about sharks and caves.
I saw a weird trailer when I was in the theater this week for like it was a movie about a guy getting eaten by a whale.
Yeah, dude, I talked about that.
And I saw that trailer.
It's stupid, right?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like and the trailer was long. It was just like,
dude,
him just like fighting, getting into this whale's mouth.
So yeah, remember the whole thing I talked about? It was like the whale decides not to chew its food and all this. So like it's a whale chasing this colossal squid. Or giant squid, or whatever it's supposed to be, and the squid reaches out in a desperate attempt and grabs this scuba diver guy who
becomes like the turducken of this situation.
Yeah, he's the kin in the turduh. So
it definitely looks like a big turd. That's for sure.
So that squid grabs him and then drags him along, and then the whale just like hits the big gulp and brings them both in. And then it doesn't bother chewing them. The largest toothed predator to ever live, ever, largest toothed predator ever, decides not to use its friggin' teeth to chew this deadly animal with a razor-sharp beak and claws on its tentacles that it routinely does mortal battle
it's just
with.
Like, we're going to go full Geppetto on this thing.
Yeah, so it's like, I might choke or die, or this thing might shred my insides, but gulp.
Oh, do it for the story.
Yeah, and then the guy's in its tummy, and he turns on his headlight, and he's like, "Oh, I'm being attacked by a squid inside
I'm
of the
real
whale."
Boy,
dude. Yeah, it's like, yeah, where's Geppetto and the donkey and all the dumbass stuff? It looks so dumb.
It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
People were laughing in the like, what is this for real? Because it looked like maybe it was going to be one of those Amazon commercials where the guy like pulls his phone out and goes, "Oh, I should have got a harpoon gun," and it's like prime,
dude. And is it not like this? He's like, "Oh, my dad went missing or died or something, so I'm going to just go swimming in the ocean by myself." Watch him find his dad inside of that whale.
He's in there.
It's going to be like old dude inside a Laboon from One Piece. Like,
oh my god,
come on. He's like, "Oh, hey, you showed up? Yeah, I just live here inside of this whale.
This is my house."
Yeah.
Meet Squid. He's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But I was in the theater. I did see a lot of. I saw a lot of movies this weekend. But what a weekend for movies, I guess, money wise. But there was some news, some new trailers. Did you see the trailer for Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma?
No, I didn't.
It's from the same director that did the TV Glow or whatever movie. But it was okay. I visually it was really good, but I don't remember liking it all that much. But this one looks really fun. Looks like a very much a love letter to horror movies. Tons and tons and tons of horror references in this movie. But seen the trailer twice now. But did you hear about the Ghost Rider movie?
Oh yeah,
Ryan Gosling, Ghost Rider.
yeah.
How you feel about that? How you feel about that, Jake?
So one of my friends that still enjoys comic books and is always trying to convince me to read them sent me a text about it, and he was like, "Dude, did you see Ryan Gosling cast as Ghost Rider?" And I was like, "No," but I was like, Which Ghost Rider do you think he's gonna be?" And he's like, "I hope
the one on the motorcycle.
I hope he's Danny." So he wants him to be the not Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, because I don't think
that's Nicolas Cage.
It's not Ryan Reynolds. So yeah, I don't. Ghost Rider should never be anybody but Johnny Blaze. But except for when Sam Elliott was like the Old West Ghost Rider, because that was cool. That was the only reason worth watching that movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, neither of us watched Spider-Man. Clearly, the comic book movie thing is not exactly our favorite thing in the world.
I'm just so burnt out on it. I mean, I was there for a while. I tried to ride that train as long as I could, but it just...
I was
just over it, man.
Those movies started right when I was still reading comics, and they helped to sink that ship for sure. So, I mean, I think it sucks for him that he's coming in this late in the game and that it's not going to be anything that too many people are excited about. And I don't know if they're going to, if it's going to be a series or a movie, or if they're going to even have him be standalone or incorporate him into something else. But whatever. Ryan Gosling's a great actor, and I think that comic book movies are of that caliber of comic book movie. We were talking about Weird Science earlier. Great comic book movie.
Great comic book movie.
Mystery Men, fantastic comic book movie. The Mask, what a great comic book movie.
Well, speaking of Mystery Men, I haven't seen Vince in the comments, and I forgive me, but I got a new phone and I can't log into Discord on this, so I don't know if there's been some chat on our Discord right now. But I finally watched the Watchmen TV show, and it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
But
do you see that Blade is for sure?
Didn't we talk about that last week?
We did.
Okay.
Because the guy that designed the Blade logo posted that he's like, "Oh man, it sucks that it's over." You know, it's like, but at least I got to see my logo up there. Well, Mahershala Ali actually talked about it this time. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm not really one to give up on stuff, but it's done.
It gave up on me."
Yeah. So Blade is done. It's dead. Mahershala Ali has stepped away. They don't have anyone to do it. So there you go.
Do you got any other news? I didn't have a whole lot of stuff I really wanted to mention.
Well, something on your screen reminds me of something I did not write down. But Batista is currently in talks to replace the guy cast for the God of War TV show for him to be Kratos.
I thought that Dave Bautista was tired of doing stuff that required him to take his shirt off.
He's going to have to get a lot bigger again to be Kratos, for sure. And, man, I don't know. I don't know that he works as Kratos, because I feel like it's going to be just the same thing as his... Guardians of the Galaxy character.
Probably.
Except instead of red and green makeup, he's going to be in white and red makeup across his entire body. And I think after the change of the voice actors and getting old dude from Stargate SG-1, the boy.
That guy.
The dude.
Yeah.
I think that Batista might not. I don't know that there's many people that can have the...
presence.
Yeah, the presence, the gravitas, like the aura that needs to be a live action Kratos. Like, it's going to be tough, even for someone that used to be as big as Batista. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. Netflix is being sued currently. Since we were talking about Nick Cage a minute ago.
Okay.
Reportedly, some World War II movie of his called Fortitude that is looking for a distribution deal. There was a unprotected master copy of the movie on a hard drive at Netflix headquarters, which was one of the hard drives that were stolen.
Whoa.
And so this copy of this movie that's yet to be released has gone missing, and so the producer and writer of the movie, same guy by the way, the writer / producer of this movie, he's suing Netflix for $150 million in damages.
Dang, dude.
I don't know if you thought your movie was gonna gross $150 million bucks. Maybe if it ended up on Netflix, where they just throw money at whatever. But you know, we'll see where that goes. Netflix might just be like, dude, $150 million, really? Just
here,
get the
take
hell
this.
out of here.
Get out of here.
No one was gonna watch it anyhow. Stephen King and Sam Raimi. There you go, more comic book stuff.
Are they doing a buddy cop movie?
No, they're
Damn.
Sam Raimi is going to be doing an adaptation of a Stephen King book called Desperation, which
Sounds
was
desperate.
made into a TV movie back in 2006, and I think this time they're going to aim for the big screen. So Sam Raimi out
How old
here.
is Stephen King now? 70 billion, 100?
Old, yeah, he has to be. But Sam Raimi's out here taking on weird movies.
I have to look this up. He's 78. So
Dang.
70 billion, 100. I was close.
Other people that have ties to comic books, Henry Cavill, his Warhammer series for Amazon. It has
Is that
been,
ever going to happen?
Yes, it was actually recently revealed. Henry Cavill said that he is going to be playing a role in the Warhammer TV series. That role is yet to be released as to what he is. Everyone always thinks the same thing. He's going to be Eisenhorn, an Inquisitor. He's going to be the Emperor, or some sort of like Primarch or something like that. But I see him being Eisenhorn, though I'm sure he would love to be a Space Marine. So he will be starring in that, but also he announced that he is also co-producing another animated Warhammer series for Prime that's being done by the Secret Level people,
That I'd be into.
and it's going to be all about Death Watch, baby.
I'd rather watch that. I don't want to, like the live action, it's too much, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
it's too big. And I think animated, that could be cool.
Death Watch animated is going to be sick. If you have Warhammer TV or access to it, you can probably find it on YouTube even. They made a little short video of Death Watch. These 3 Death Watch dudes in a kill team take on this like Necron Scorpek Lord dude and some like Flesh Terror Necron things. What are they called?
That's a lot of words.
The ones that cover themselves in the flesh because they feel like they need the skin and they try
Those
to
ones.
eat the entrails, but they like can't because they don't have stomach, so they just gnaw on it and it all falls out and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I sure don't, and I don't think anybody else does either.
Anyhow, there's a short and it's super sick. It's a Black Templar as he has the shield, a power sword and shield. There's like a Imperial fist that has like a bolter rifle, and then a space wolf in his like Phobos armor falls from the sky of this temple. It's super rad. It's only a couple minutes long.
It's on Warhammer Plus streaming service.
Yeah, Warhammer TV, and you can probably find it on YouTube. But a whole series of that is going to be sick.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Give me caught up to date with all those words that you said.
Oh, yeah, because the Secret Level that they did with Titus, the Space Marine 2 sequel, Secret Level episode was really good. So that may end up being okay. The live action series will probably end up being not okay. But that's a discussion for a different time. Also, just to round out the rest of this comic book talk here, Alan Ritchson signed a new deal with Netflix where he's going to be in a couple of movies for them, and he has like a first look deal.
More
and
beaten up guys.
Yeah. And the first one that he's going to be a part of is...
It's a sequel to that one they did.
No, I thought I had found the title for it earlier, but it's Fast and Furious, but with motorcycles. He's a MotoGP professional dude, and he's going to go undercover into this biker gang that's stealing MotoGP bikes. But the only problem is that his brother may be one of them, and he might get recognized. But it's Fast and Furious.
That
It's
sounds terrible.
Point Break
That sounds terrible.
with motorcycles.
That sounds
Dude,
terrible.
Point Break's good. The first couple of
yeah.
Fast and Furious are good.
but I don't want to see this on motorcycles.
Dude, it's Fast and Furious. It's Point Break with motorcycles.
Well,
It could be cool. And then Warner Brothers and Mattel right now are in a contract dispute. Warner Brothers is
for toy rights.
no for Barbie 2. Because Warner Brothers' deal with Mattel ends at the end of the year, and they really, really, really want to have some of that Barbie money again. So they want Barbie 2, but I guess Mattel's not ready to sign the contracts. And I mean, we still haven't got half the other board game movies that are supposed to be coming out. So they're just trying to lock.
Oh man, I'm really waiting for them too.
They're trying to lock down a contract so that they can at some point make Barbie 2. Just to extend their time since their deal's about to run out. And then the last little bit here is that Godzilla -1 is coming out. Very limited release of a Steelbook 4K 3-disc edition in October.
Are you going to get it?
Maybe, yeah, dude. I don't know. That could be cool. I do like -1 quite a bit.
When's -0 coming out?
Next year? Early next year.
Yeah, remember we were talking about it recently.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, if there's no more news, we'll talk about what's coming out in theaters this weekend. I mean, there
No
was
more news.
okay. Not a whole lot, but there are other movies that are coming out. There are people that every single week. There's always a weekend, and there's always movie theaters that kick cool indie movies out that have been out for a week and make room for more big budget nonsense. And this weekend is no different, although it's going to be in reverse because we've got Odyssey and Spider-Man that are not going anywhere. And I feel like these 3 releases that are coming out this week are going to have a very difficult time finding a foothold in theaters.
There was a little bit of funny movie news regarding Odyssey is that before it came out, it had a Oscar prediction rate of like 65%, something like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, this movie, Christopher Nolan, star cast, whatever, like can't miss. It's a shoe-in and stuff." And then as soon as the movie released, it's like down to 40% or something. Like it had a big drop because everyone watched the movie and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's not a good movie. It's drab and bland."
It's
and
another Christopher Nolan movie
Yep.
where Christopher Nolan fans are incapable of acknowledging that his movie it's not. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But
Yeah.
let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this week, August 7th, 2026. We got 3 movies coming out. We've got a comedy, a
November.
horror, and a romantic comedy. The romantic comedy coming out with Callum Turner. He's the square jaw of the season. And Monica Barbaro. It's called One Night Only. It represents probably one of my least favorite genres of film in both comedy and romantic comedy, which is the one magical night trope. Movies like The Hangover, movies like Superbad, movies like One Night Only.
But this movie has its premises. It's like The Purge, but for sex. People are only allowed to get down with each other like one night a year.
No, I thought this was just like Valentine's Day and they're trying to find a date.
No, there's an extended trailer and they cover the premise of the movie is that they both end up single and it's their only chance to do this.
I thought it was like Valentine's Day.
No,
or
no,
something. There's
no.
like a parallel universe where it's fuck day.
Yeah.
Oh God,
It's
that
the
makes it even worse.
It's The Purge, but for
the Spurge is what it is.
yeah, I was trying to think of like a good alliterative innuendo there.
Gross. Well, anyway, it looks stupid. I hate movies like this. I hate the one magical night film trope. No matter what, there's very rarely does that trope work off in its favor. But not looking forward to this one. In the horror genre coming out from Eli Roth, you've probably seen the trailer. It looks ridiculous. I'm sure it will be equally as ridiculous. It's Ice Cream Man, directed by Eli Roth, co-written by Eli Roth, starring Eli Roth, and a bunch of kids. And it's this town where a bunch of kids, an ice cream man tells all the kids to kill people, and they do. It looks it's kind of pulling out of the Terrifier playbook where it's extra campy, extra ridiculous, but ultra gory graphic. So Ice Cream Man's hour and a half, perfect runtime. I'm sure it'll make money. I think he's trying to create the next Terrifier. It's like, oh, it's just going to be this ice cream guy, and hopefully it'll spawn 3 or 4 very cheap to make sequels that'll make a lot of money. And I guarantee you that's what they're trying to do with this one. Yeah, whatever, dude. It looks like a movie. And then, of course, in the comedy realm this week, we've got Super Troopers 3, which, wow, didn't see that one coming. I mean, when I first saw the trailer to this, I was not really prepared for seeing another Super Trooper film, but it is getting the gang back together. You've got, all the guys. This one seems like it's following Farva a lot because he's getting married. But the trailer is exactly what you'd think the trailer was. Jokes about semen, drinking beer, smoking weed, being cops.
Happiness in your asshole.
Yes. Exactly. So Super Troopers 3, if you're familiar with those guys, I'm sure this is exactly the same as the last few.
When I went and watched Super Troopers 2, the biggest letdown of it was that it was just the first movie again. Mm-hmm. It did have some standout jokes, like the happiness in the household, but with the French accent. Happiness in your asshole. There was a couple of things that were really funny. Mostly forgettable, but at the same time, you're not walking out of there being like, "Oh man,
I hated that forever."
So
movies like this,
I'll go watch it.
Chuckles.
I'll go watch it. I watched the other two. I've watched most of the Broken Lizard stuff.
Yeah, the Broken Lizard guys can be pretty funny. And yeah, so that's pretty much your offerings. It's romance, horror, or comedy. If you just really don't want to watch Tom Holland, John Bernthal, and Zendaya in a 3-hour movie, because there's 2 of those. They're currently dominating every screen in America. So yeah, check one of those out if you wanna. But yeah, I guess it's time to actually talk about the Odyssey. I know this is something that Jake's been really excited about talking about. He's been really, really pumped up about this movie.
That was my other bit of news.
What?
Dude, the trailer for that Children of Blood and Bone came out, and the author hates it, and that's like a thing. So
gotta love it when the author hates it.
Go and look it up, because the author of this book hates every part about it, and she can't tell people enough how she hates everything about this movie. Go look that up. Hey,
okay.
Now
Odyssey has been really interesting because only Christopher Nolan movies have a way of creating enough backlash on the internet when people try to critique it, right? Because some people are like, oh, people are criticizing it because it's too woke. Come on, guys, it's just a movie. It's about a 3,000. Oh, because Cyclopses are so real. Got to keep it historically accurate. And it's it makes everybody that would normally argue these points about any other movie defend these points when it's Christopher Nolan making these movies. My problem with this movie is not that it was woke. I didn't feel like it was woke at all. I don't know what these people were talking about. I feel like it was just poorly cast. There was, it was pretty to watch. The sound design was cool. There was, for all the CGI weird green screen box sets like Disney uses all the time, it still was very entertaining and beautiful to watch. But the casting was absolutely trash. You have all of these humongous stars in here to where there's so many stars and so many recognizable faces that are in this film that you stop thinking about what story you're watching and you're like, oh, that's Travis Scott. Oh, that's Anne Hathaway. Oh, that's Matt Damon. Oh, that's Tom Holland. Oh, that's Rob Pattinson. Oh, that's, and you just go, Elliot Page is here too. Oh, John Bernthal is here. Oh, John Leguizamo's here. Everybody's here.
The one consistent thing I've heard is that Robert Pattinson is the one person attempting to act in the movie.
Yeah.
He's the one person that acts and does what he's supposed to do, and everyone else is just on set in clothes.
Well, and
that don't belong to them.
This is a movie in 3 hours, which I'll divide the 3 hours into 3 acts, even though they weren't exactly split that evenly. And the first act, the first hour was. It felt like watching a bunch of your friends do a high school performance some Shakespeare, because that's what you always start with in high school acting, right? And the lines were delivered poorly. And you know what? I know people are like, well, Christopher Nolan is just trying to do a little modern spin. The Homer, the thing about the Odyssey. It's like everybody becomes like a fucking historical, master of like, I'm like, bitch, you never read the Odyssey, nor do you know anything about the ancient lore.
Some excerpts that they were required
on
to.
Vice.
In their big, thick literature book in high school, there was like just the excerpt.
People are like, oh, well, it's not like Cyclopses are real. Why are we trying to be so historically accurate? I mean, the Odyssey was an oral fiction, so of course it's going to be re-editorialized through history, and that's maybe Christopher Nolan's genius, as he's re-editorializing the story that's always been retold. I'm like, fuck you. It's just poor casting. And the one thing that I just cannot is Tom Holland saying dad. Just that alone pulls me so far out of everything. Like, there's so many things that can pull you out of this if you do care anything about history. But if you're just like trying to get lost in the movie, it's like, you know what? Even in Star Wars, they gave us father. They're like, father, you're my father. Because father has like some gravitas to it. You're like, that's my father. But when like Tom Holland comes into this like just fucking 3,000-year-old epic masterpiece and goes, well, when my dad gets here, Mom, where's Dad? And you're just like, what? Can you say father? Just say father. Please, just say father. And just no. That father's not a dead old word. It's still a word. But dad was never a word back then. Please don't. That would have been like John Bernthal coming and being like, hey, motherfuckers, where's Agamemnon? We're going to go kick some ass in Troy.
Didn't they?
They basically did.
Didn't they? Because don't they just yell the F word a bunch? Like,
oh, no, he did say the F word, which I thought was also completely unnecessary. And it's like these people that are defending this movie for these things, it's like you can still, I enjoyed the movie. I still was like, yeah, I had fun watching this movie. Am I going to sit here and say that it is completely without criticism? Hell no, because there was a lot of really stupid parts in this movie. And, like Charlize Theron, of course, she's Calypso. And she just shows up being Charlize Theron on a beach, not really acting, not really doing anything. She's just like, I'm Charlize Theron, you're Matt Damon, here's some water, you're on my beach. Eat this lotus flower, and hang out for a little bit. And she's just Charlize Theron. There's not like, ooh, this is Callisto. Like, and it's so distracting from the story that it just got really, really, really boring and obnoxious. And to Arkhog's comment on Twitch, he said, every time Leguizamo was on screen, all I could think of was Jake's rage. And bless his heart, he was trying to act. And it just felt weird because everybody else wasn't. And so when you see John Leguizamo just trying real hard to be like, I'm blind. I can hear you. And you're just like, fucking, just stop acting, because no one else is in this movie. They're just all here because they're famous. And, bless Elliot Page for being the only person who carried a scene in the whole movie after their character was killed and shows back up in Hades. Like, that was the only scene. I was like, here's a person acting so well that I'm forgetting that I'm watching this famous person in this movie. And Star Punch just asked, did we really need the dog dying for the perfect meme? That's actually from that's real. That's
yeah,
I think that's accurate.
No, yeah, that's the whole thing of the Odyssey is that no one recognized
Except the
Odysseus
dog.
when he came home,
And then the dog dies.
Yeah,
That
because the dog recognizes him, and the dog's finally like, okay, he's here.
I'm
I
out.
can give up.
Yeah. So
But
that's for real.
I heard that people watch it like Matt Damon does not care about the dog. What's his name? Argo.
Yeah,
right?
he just like goes, all right, good boy. And but no, I think the other biggest problem I have with this movie is and not Matt Damon. I love Matt Damon, but I think the direction Nolan gave these actors, which we all know they all have talent. But I'm blaming Christopher Nolan, and this is not a reinterpretation of like, oh, well, Cyclopses aren't real, so why are you so mad about the Cyclops and the way he changed things? The purpose of the story is Odysseus was a dickhead. He was a dickhead that thought he was cocky and better than the gods. gods. That's the story. And
Well, but also that he had a family and he was fighting this war that wasn't his to fight. He's a king of a country. He has people that rely on his governorship. Like he needs to be there governing he's a king.
right,
And he has a family.
But his hubris is also what sent him on this journey in defiance of the gods, right? This movie makes it seem like, why is he just getting dealt a bad old hand? And then finally you have this little bit of an aha moment, like at the very end of the movie, that like does some foreshadowing where he's like, well, I got really guilty because this girl got killed in front of me. And it's like, dude, you did a whole lot of other things that pissed the gods off through the whole movie. Like, and they made Matt Damon so lovable the whole time that it made the whole purpose of Odysseus's journey, because the journey wasn't just trying to get back home. The journey was in here too, y'all. And they left a lot of that out. And that, I think, was not just a retelling and a modernization of the story. That's kind of missing the point of the story and why it's been passed down for 3,000 years. Yeah, I don't... let's see. I want to read this comment from Dean. Oh, you had something there, Jake?
Oh, I was just going to say, you can watch The Return from a couple years ago. I talked
Was
about
that Ray
it on the show.
Fiennes, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Ray Fiennes as old naked Odysseus showing up back home. Because it's from where he washes ashore at Ithaca and then reclaims the throne. So it's all the way to where put it through the axe handles and stuff like that. That's a pretty sick movie. It's not 100% accurate either, but it at least illustrates that it cared about the source material that it was working on.
Dina says, I'm really concerned about Nolan himself being mythologized as a faultless filmmaker, but if you think about it, it's a great sequel to Oppenheimer. A little bit. Art Cog said he felt that the major theme was his commitment to his soldiers to their detriment by defying the will of the gods. I mean, yes, there was that there. I think that was the only thread that they had in this version of the story. Until the end, where he's just like, well, it's really just me being selfish trying to get home and feeling guilty about this girl's head getting lopped off in front of me. But it's like, not after you did all this other shit, dude. Anyway, it's the defying the gods. I
mean, how do you fight a war for 10 years and like one moment is like, oh, well, that's messed up.
Right. Exactly. And like, how the fuck did that Trojan horse get halfway buried in the sand? Like, how did...
Dude, I saw that
upright,
in the
like, how to...
clips. Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, don't... we say this all the time. You got to obey the rules of the world that you create, right? If you break the rules of the own world that you create, it's like if you've established that Odysseus doesn't have magic and then you somehow magically put that Trojan horse halfway in the sand after they built it somehow on top of the sand and survived in it for a couple of days, and Elliot Page somehow didn't know that they were inside there.
Oh, wait, they don't even wheel it to the gate as a gift?
No, it's just sitting on the beach.
They just hoping that they would...
find it. And they built it out of driftwood on the beach from broken ships that somehow comes out perfectly beautiful. And Elliot Page doesn't know that they're all in there without him. And they're like, why didn't you tell me the truth? I would have lied for you. And he's like, I needed you to believe that we weren't all in here, that everybody just slipped away. And it's like, okay, this plan doesn't even work. And everybody's like, oh, you're overthinking it because Cyclopses aren't real. And I'm like, no, this is just a strategic military plan.
Humans are.
Yeah.
Humans are real. You can't do things that humans can't do.
I'm like, oh, jeez. And I'm not even mad about the Viking ships that they're sailing
Dude,
in. I'm just like, I'll forget about this.
No. You can't put people in armor that is from a different culture from 1,000 years in the future from where they're at. You can't put people in boats from 2,000 years from a different culture from thousands of miles away from where they're at. You can't do these things, and you can't ask for suspense of disbelief.
But then people are going to defend it and they go, oh, because the Cyclopses are so historically accurate.
Yeah, they really are to the stories that people told 3,000 years ago in ancient Greece. Butt liquor, Viking ships weren't a thing.
And I'm glad you made that point, Jake, because that is something that I think people need to think about in the context of these stories. Is the story is historical. not the fact that Cyclopses aren't real. That's like the Bible. The Bible, most of these fucking idiots are like, well, the Bible. And I was like, well, okay, well, let's just say Jesus rode a fucking motorcycle. He goes ramping through, and he was also gay, had lots of butt sex because, yeah. And they go, no, that's not historically accurate. And I go, oh, because 50-foot giants that begat more giants and lived for hundreds of years, and that's so historically real and accurate. Why can't we just shake it up for a modern generation? It's like these things have historical relevance from the time that these stories were told at that time, and sort of protecting and using those historical references as a guide point, like those mythical creatures, like, it's, Egyptians, they just worship Jesus. I was like, no, Ra is important to, like, the Ra's not real. We all know that the sun god and Osiris are not real, but we want to make sure that we tell those stories in the context of where those things came from. So, yeah, to all those people that like are nitpicky that it's a fantasy story, yes, it is, but it's also a historical tale, and I think that is important to keep the historical accuracies of those tales where you can.
There may be a pretty important distinction between fantasy and myth as well. Myth is different from fantasy. You can't. Fantasy is full on imaginary.
Myth is based in belief.
Yeah, and it's to help explain things. It would have places for religious significance and things like that, help people understand the world. I don't think that myth and fantasy should be wrapped completely together like that.
Yeah, I knew Dina was gonna. Dina in the comments going, did someone say folklore? One of her specialties.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that the historical context is important. Like when you talk about myth, like the Wendigo, and Native American folklore of certain things like that, and it's like it's also important to include what is historically accurate to those people that are telling these stories. That is just as important as the story itself, I think. Anyway. Odyssey, it's a fun popcorn watch. It's got the Ben-Hur vibes. It's got the big bombastic, cinema experience. But the casting was absolutely atrocious. Just woof on the casting. But hey, there's some good action scenes. There's some good. Watching Matt Damon kill all the suitors, very satisfying. You're gonna be like, hell yeah, dude. Brother, good times. It's making all the money. The other movie that I saw, which I won't spend as much time talking about, is I Want Your Sex, which is the new film from Greg Araki, which, if you're not familiar with his films, he's done some pretty cool stuff. Like Nowhere was his. He was the writer behind that, which I actually kind of enjoyed. That's a little bit of an older one, but he's done. He was on an American Gigolo TV series. He did the Monster TV series, the Heathers TV series. He did Riverdale. He's done a lot of stuff, and some of his stuff is just very visually interesting. But this story is very, very, very weird. Going back in the comments, Mark Landry on YouTube said, "Oh, Brother is still the best Odyssey big screen adaptation." I've
never liked that movie.
I thought that was a good Odyssey adaptation of, like, if you're going to blend it and modernize it into a context. I thought that was.
Every time people would point that out, I'm like, I just don't see it. It's just.
It's there. It's there.
The best adaptation is the one with old. What's his name? Rico from Judge Dredd. The TV miniseries with what's his name? He played Rico in Judge Dredd. He played the Frog in NCIS.
Armand
Assante. Bam, right there. Thanks, Dina. That's the best one because that's the most accurate. It takes the time with everything. Armand Assante plays Odysseus the way that he should be, where he's intelligent, he cares about his men, he cares about getting home, but he ends up with a lot of his hubris and all of the things that made the Odyssey. That's the best one. But you're right, it's not big screen, so but
okay.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is poop.
Well, I Want Your Sex is in theaters right now.
The Return is far better than that. It's not the entire Odyssey. It's just The Return. But that's the best one, big screen. Armando Santes is the best one on film. The Return's the best one, big screen. I'll poop on our brother out there.
So I Want Your Sex is currently in theaters right now. I went and saw it, and this movie stars Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman. Some cameo appearances by Johnny Knoxville, Margaret Cho, Charlie XCX, Daveed Diggs, who was hilarious in the whole movie. Pretty fun cast. This movie, I was not super excited about seeing this movie. I wanted to see it because visually it looks really interesting from a style perspective. But movies like this usually kind of turn me off because I feel like they handle very delicate things with just like bull in the china shop. And, I feel like, and this is maybe a hot take being, a middle-aged white dude with a podcast coming out here, but if you've watched the show long enough and you are a fan of film and media, the Bechdel test is a thing that exists that I think is important for existing, and it has its merits, and it has its pros and cons, but it is a way to measure like diversity, inclusion, women in film, things like this. I'm not going to bore you with what the Bechdel test is because I'm not going to talk about it in relation to this movie, but I do feel like this movie, I walked in thinking like, you know what? I don't think that there's enough. There's not a scale. There's not a tool or a metric given to movies where if you were to take the ethnicity of the characters or the gender of the characters or the location of the characters and like flip-flop them into a different scenario, if it's still appropriate or not. And I feel like there's a lot of movies where if you were to just like switch one of these things, it would be extremely inappropriate. And this is one of those movies I was like, man, it's about this like, powerful female executive just like sexually dominating one of her employees and blah, 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 blah. And we're celebrating it and making it cool. But what was interesting about this movie, and I immediately went out and read about it, and the director and writer of this, they slept on it for a while because the original script was, there was a guy, it was supposed to be a male artist, and the woman was the one that was being abused. And he goes, man, after the whole Me Too movement and after all this kind of stuff, and Epstein, he's like, I just don't really feel like it would be good to have, a male executive dragging a woman around by the hair, and like we're kind of like celebrating it. But then they did these script flips, but in the process of doing it, they made some really interesting commentary on like modern sexuality and contemporary art in a way that I was like, holy shit, you guys, you did it. You did it in a way that like was entertaining and it was fun, but it was also disturbing and inappropriate at the same time. And they held it with a lot of balance. And, and I think it's because Cooper Hoffman is fantastic. Like Cooper Hoffman carries this movie, which is so interesting because he's so much like his father in the sense that you look at this guy and you're like, what's so special about this guy?
The big forehead. And
then you go, but you can't stop watching him on screen because he's got like a goofy tooth and a big forehead, and he's a ginger. Who likes those? And but then you see him on screen and you're just like, yeah, I just want to keep watching this guy. And Olivia Wilde nails her role. Johnny Knoxville is just in it for like, he's not even Johnny Knoxville. He's just a cop at a table.
Okay, when I saw him on the cast list when you talked about it last week, I was like,
no, he's actually just a detective asking questions, not doing anything crazy. Dina says it's interesting because he did Licorice Pizza, which also has a power dynamic relationship. And yes, and I think he's very perfectly cast for these sort of things because he's ambiguously interesting to look at. You're like, he's not hot, but he's also not ugly. He does really have presence on screen. So when you're watching a story about power dynamics, especially in like genres of romantic comedy or anything to deal with love and sex, most Hollywood movies always cast like super ultra hot people where you're just like watching it and you go, well, they're hot. They're not like real normal people. That's not how this works. And it's like, this is only happening to them because they're hot and sexy. Or if they're too ugly, you're like, well, that would never happen because they're too ugly. Like Cooper Hoffman manages to ride this line. You're like, I believe it. I believe that I'll accept this. And yeah, it's just a really kind of fun story about contemporary art and modern sexuality that I was so pleasantly surprised. And it's a bit of a, I don't want to say a whodunit, but it's like, okay, 9.5 weeks before he's sitting in the police office where, you know, Olivia Wilde is supposedly dead. You know, they're like trying to figure out like what happened, and he's talking about the past 9.5 weeks, which is an interesting reference to 9.5 Weeks, which is another erotic, like, sort of, you know, tale about modern sexuality of the time. But anyway, I really enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to enjoy this. So, and I do think I have a new Hollywood crush on Chase Sui Wonders. She was so cute and fun in this movie. She was just like the quirky, like, roommate and I'm like, she's awesome. I liked her in the Producer. She was great in that, and I just don't see her a whole lot. And I'm like, I want to see more movies with her. She's got a lot of stage presence that I think we should see more of. So, let's see. Star Punch says, is there any food play in this? There's a lot of play in this movie. So, I recommend this movie. It's not going to be in theaters very long. It was only how many? It was only in 700 theaters this weekend, nationwide. So it's not doing very good. I think a lot of people are kind of nervous about going and buying a ticket to a movie called I Want Your Sex.
Yeah. What movie are you watching?
I Want Your Sex. But it's good. It's good, and it's a lot smarter.
As soon as this one's on stream, he's gonna blow up, right?
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot smarter than I think people are going to give it credit for. So it's from Magnolia Pictures. It's in theaters right now. You can check it out if you want to.
Real quick, there was something I forgot in the news, and you talking about that movie reminded me because of up-and-comers and well-established actors. It was announced that Jafar Jackson, his first role after Michael, is going to be in a movie with Will Smith. And I'm so sorry. Jafar Jackson. You're gonna get dragged down, and
Jafar.
that sucks. You had your first movie was $1 billion, and you did a great job, and right on to some movie about being in prison with Will Smith.
Well, you flew too close to the sun there, Icarus.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's go ahead and hit that.
Let me tell you about Devil Mouth.
Oh, that's right, Mouth.
Devil's Mouth.
Sorry about
real
that.
Quick.
I forgot about Devil Mouth.
Man, it's just a. I think it's the Devil's Mouth. It's about a cave in Thailand, and these rich young people who have no respect for anyone or anything.
Of course, this is the premise of everything, right?
Yep. These super rich young people who don't care about anything except for themselves and spending their money and doing it for the gram go to Thailand, and they force these guys into taking them out on a boat, and they're attacked by monkeys and jellyfish, and then eventually a big old mean bull shark in a cave, because they go on this tour inside of a cave, and then one of them gets themselves hurt because they don't listen, and then they all argue instead of listening to the guide, and the guide the whole time tries to talk to him and tell him, he's like, follow me, we're getting out of here, I'm the only one that knows how to do anything, please listen, and they don't listen, so he just swims off, and they're stuck on their own until they get eaten by a shark in a cave, and they all get eaten by a shark in a cave except for Final Girl, because how else would it happen? That's it. That's the whole movie. It's 47 meters down in the cave again. And the whole time you're watching the movie, you're like, man, what if I could see anything? But apparently they see better in the cave than you see on your TV.
Is it one of those movies that's just like too damn dark?
It's just dark, and it's dumb. This shark jumps out of the water like 10, 12 feet out of the water just to bite somebody.
Nice.
It rams its face into rocks over and over because it's a bull shark, so it's just full of testosterone, dude, and it doesn't care what it does to itself. And man, there's not really much more to this movie beyond that.
Paradise has an appetite.
Yeah, every single person gets eaten like you knew they would, except for
the final girl.
And she doesn't. It doesn't end with her learning a lesson or anything. It just
ends with her bloody and like.
That's the ending of the movie.
And going like, I made it.
Yeah, she goes, yeah. And then it ends. The end. No lessons learned. All of her friends eaten. And actually, if anything, all of her conflicts are resolved because the guy that was a know-it-all that was like, yeah, well, the crazy thing about jellyfish is, and they're like, oh, shut up, dude.
And then he gets killed by a jellyfish.
Yeah, he gets killed by a shark. And he's like, oh, it's a bull shark or whatever. And he gets eaten. And her friend that has betrayed her trust, and as she's moving to LA when they both talked about moving to New York, well, she's eaten, so no need to worry about it anymore. Just don't worry about it. Super dumb. You've seen it before. It's every shark movie. It is all of the shark movies. It was like that last one that they did where it was the rain.
And then the sharks came in. Yeah. Ew.
And it was bull sharks, because bull sharks are crazy,
and they can swim in fresh water if they want to, or something.
Oh, but here comes the great white to bite the bull shark. It's just every dumb shark movie, but in a cave. So it's a lot like that one dumb shark movie. Not anything that you really need to put your time towards at all. So.
All right. Well, let's get into the box office then and wrap it on up here. We're going to give you the top 10 movies here. And what should we
Star Punch asked how the movie would work on a plasma. Why plasma?
Probably the same.
When I watched it on a QLED mini LED TV that will have better picture than a plasma. Still looked like dark butt.
But yeah, we're going to do the box office, of course, the top 10 movies in America. We'll throw in some domestic or worldwide numbers for these big guys because there's some crazy stuff. Speaking of box office, Dina just coming in with because she's our box office queen at home. Says Backrooms got a weird boost this weekend. Fewer than 100 theaters, but did almost $4,000 average per theater. It went, it was called, it was Backrooms All Access or something like this. I remember seeing this. It was like a special type of showing of Backrooms, but yeah, it made a ton of money for being only in 85 theaters.
I wonder too how much of that is college age students moving to towns like ours where they have gone places where they're not close to a movie theater or they don't have one convenient, and they move into somewhere that has a larger population and these forms of entertainment that's much more accessible, and then they're around their friends and they're like, hey, what do you want to go do? And they're like, well, we could go watch this movie. And they're like, oh, yeah, dude, let's go watch that movie. Maybe that's part of it, too.
Maybe so. Well, all right. Well, give them number 10.
At number 10, Young Washington still hanging in there. $500,000 brought in by it in its fifth week, bringing it up to $46.5 million. I can't wait for Young Washington 2. I do think there was ramblings of sequels. Opening at
middle-aged Washington.
Opening at number 9, I Want Your Sex. It brought in $634,000 in its opening weekend. But like you were saying, only 700 theaters.
Yep.
You were 12 or 15 of those dollars.
I was.
Good job. And then at number 8, Evil Dead Burn. I keep forgetting that that's out there. I don't think any of our theaters have it.
I think our Malco has it, and that's it.
I'll have to check again. Fourth week out, brought in $750,000, bringing it up to $31.5 million. And then holding at number 7, The Invite, in its sixth week, brought in $1.2 million. It's at 22.8 right now. So good job for a movie that has like no advertising.
Yeah,
for it.
just out there.
And then at number 6, losing the number 3 spot, Hades Town, the musical, in case you want to get some of that Greek mythology without having to watch the Odyssey.
Yeah.
$2 million in its second week, bringing $18.235 million.
I've seen Hades Town on stage, and it's pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty good, yeah.
And then at number 5, losing the number 2 spot, Moana brought in $5.6 million. 4 weeks out, has just gotten over $1 million. It's at, or $100 million. It's at 115. Another 147 elsewhere, so it's just over $261 million total. And then at number 4, actually climbing a spot, Minions and Monsters brought in $6 million. Its fifth week out. That's brought its total up to 168.5 here in the States, another 280.7 elsewhere, so it's just under 450 million so far. Toy Story comes in into the number 3 spot.
I am surprised that it's still in number 3, considering it's been out for 7 freaking weeks.
Also a climb from the number 4, brought in 6.76 million in its 7th week. It's sitting at 462 in the States, 604.8 elsewhere. It has $1 billion. And then at number 2, The Odyssey brought in $51 million.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Uh-huh.
How? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any good reviews. I've heard people that
No, I've heard a lot of people be like, yeah, it was pretty damn good, dude.
I've heard people that were like just absolutely hating on it, and they went and they watched it and they're like, it's and I've heard people be like, dude, it sucks, but I have not
you
seen
might also be in a vacuum.
I try not to be, though. I definitely try not to be. It's 3 weeks out has brought it up to just under 400 million here in the U.S. Another 516.8 elsewhere. $900 million out of nowhere.
3 weeks.
Damn.
However,
controversy did that. Hey, any press is good press. So,
however, 900 million in 3 weeks.
Check this out. Spider-Man Brand New Day opened to 360 million in the U.S., 572 elsewhere across the globe. In one opening weekend, it brought in $932 million in one weekend.
That's insane.
I saw somewhere that it did better than the lifetime of one of the Avengers, like Endgame movies or whatever, in the opening weekend.
It's crazy. Like, what?
So people are like, Marvel movies made by Marvel? Ugh, brother, ugh. And they're like, Marvel movies made by Sony?
Let me have at it.
Yeah. So
Spider-Man, it's like Spider-Man and Batman. People are just going to go see these movies. They're going to go see Spider-Man and Batman. I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of the small stakes of it all. Because if you think about, like, Spider-Man movies are never about the fate of the universe, and Batman is never about the fate of the universe. But when you start throwing in Avengers and some of these other, like, Supermans, it's always the fate of the universe is at stake, and people are like, that's just a lot. Well,
yeah, I mean, you can't have full groups of superhero teams being like, the neighborhood cat got away.
Right.
Yeah, Green Lantern, quick, use your ring to follow the footsteps. Batman, quick, find the cat. Superman, we need your X-ray vision. Wonder Woman, hit him with the lasso of truth to tell where the last place they saw the cat going. I mean, it's just, you can't. It doesn't work that way.
Well, anyway, made a lot of money. Biggest box office weekend.
Which is crazy, too, because that one, people that I know of, one person that went and watched it this weekend personally told me that they were real stoked on it, but they were extremely biased about it. Everyone else I've seen talking about it was like, half the movie's not even about Spider-Man. It's kind of boring. But.
Is it just about the parallel universe or something? Who knows? Well, those are your movies. He's going to go see Super Troopers next week. I'm going to go see, I don't know what I'm going to go see. I'm going to see Spider-Man at some point, but pretty crazy that the theaters are not dead. Thankfully, it just sucks that it takes these two movies to do it. But we will see you guys next week. We'll talk more movies. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow wherever you like to. Go find us on our social medias, Linktree, thedriveinspeakerbox.com. Sorry I haven't been more active on Discord because I transferred to a new phone, and it's all like, you don't remember your password. And I refuse to do biometrics on any of my phones or facial recognition because I just don't like that shit. But I'll get on there, I promise. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Later.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.